Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 10.
You know, the reality is that in this part of the world, if you're unsheltered during the wintertime, you know, that's a life-threatening situation.
Cooler weather has moved in, and as we all know, it's going to get even colder. And for the homeless population of Fargo-Moorhead, this weather change is dangerous.
Valley News Team's Katie Opperly went to some local shelters to find out the risks of homelessness in this area and how you can help.
In this part of the country, it really can be a life or death issue if people are not sheltered.
And the time of year where homeless are most at risk is coming up quickly.
Anytime that the temperatures are consistently below about 40 degrees, you know, hypothermia is a risk, exposure is a risk, frostbite becomes, you know, a very real phenomenon and risk.
Pastor Sue says in this area, there are not enough resources to keep everyone sheltered and safe.
On any given night, there are probably about 850 people who are experiencing homelessness. And there are between 350 and 375, you know, regular shelter beds.
This means hundreds are living out of cars or on the streets because every shelter is at full capacity.
Homelessness is not a shelter issue, it's a community issue. And we all need to work together as a community to make sure that people have access to affordable housing and to emergency shelter when they need it.
Even with new developments to assist homeless, Jill Elliott with Fargo Housing and Redevelopment says there will never be enough.
We hear stories of families sleeping in their car in the parking lots around town. Every day we hear someone's in a tent, someone's in a truck. We hear stories all the time.
But she says anyone who needs help should reach out to one of the resources in the area, and they will find a way to help. In Fargo-Moorhead, Katie Opperly, Valley News Live.
Pastor Sue says contributions, donations, and volunteers are always needed. For more information about how you can help or how to find help, go to valleynewslive.com and click on this story.
Speaking of the weather, we're in for more wet weather tomorrow, only this time, in addition to the rain that we saw today, more of us will see snow. Robert, what's happening overnight?
Overnight tonight, most of us will see some periods of rain, but a few of us will see some snow, primarily across our western counties. Right now, a mix of some 30s and some 40s across the region. Still a bit breezy out there. Those winds out of the north and northeast, 5 to 15 miles per hour with some occasional stronger gusts. That is creating some wind chills, primarily in the 30s and some upper 20s. Cloud cover. It's been with us for seemingly weeks on end. Underneath those clouds, we are seeing the rain. But on the western edge there, you see some of that rain beginning to mix with and change to snow. More on that forecast, including the rain chances and snow chances as we head through the next 48 to 72 hours. All that and a look at Hurricane Michael in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks.
A newly formed hurricane, speaking of that, moving into the Gulf of Mexico, is taking aim at Florida's panhandle. Hurricane Michael is forecast to strengthen as it moves across the Gulf, possibly becoming a Category 3 storm before it makes landfall as early as Wednesday. Residents in the path of the storm are being told to get ready.
Today is the time to get a plan. Do not put it off. There isn't any reason not to be prepared and not to keep your family safe.
Florida's governor has declared a state of emergency for 35 counties and activated members of the National Guard in advance of the storm. Alabama has also declared a state of emergency.
Back at home, we now know the name of the Grand Forks man who was run over by a train early Sunday morning. 21-year-old Jacob Huber jumped onto a moving train near downtown Grand Forks, and when he jumped off, he was run over. That happened near the 1500 block of Dyke Avenue. Police say he injured limbs. However, the injuries were non-life-threatening.
An inmate at the Barnes County Jail died while behind bars. The victim's name is Lonnie Levi Bradley. He's 25 years old, from Valley City. The state's attorney says he was in jail on a terrorizing charge. Authorities say Bradley died Friday evening. No other details are being released. The case is still under investigation.
A high-risk sex offender will soon be living in Cass Lake, Minnesota. His picture is there on your screen. His name is Michael Black, who's being released to the community on October 15th. He has a history of sexual contact with boys and girls from ages 7 to 15. He used a position of authority, physical force, and threats as a weapon to assault his victims. Level 3 sex offenders are the most likely to recommit disturbing crimes.
A limo crash in New York that left 20 people dead over the weekend has raised a lot of concerns for people here in the Valley, wondering if taking large vehicles like limousines is worth it. But Scott Hagan with Fargo Party Ride wants to reassure you that you'll still be safe when riding along. He says the company owns 2 vehicles that have seat belts and are car seat capable. Hagan also says riders don't have to worry about his vehicles breaking down, saying the buses are always up with their maintenance and repairs, adding that the drivers are just as reliable, all with clean driving records and experience with commercial vehicles.
We do whatever we can to make sure safety is first with all of our customers. We ensure that, when the bus is in motion, please be seated. I mean, there's a lot riding on the driver's shoulders, and so for them to let everybody know at the beginning of the ride, listen, these are the rules, this is what we need to adhere by.
Hagan also says riders don't have to worry about insurance. The company has full coverage on all vehicles, allowing them to drive on interstates.
Did you catch the list? It was on social media for only a short while. It included a series of rules, a woman telling her boyfriend who he can hang out with, where he can go, and how fast he has to text her back.
This list has people questioning how much control a partner can demand before the relationship becomes abusive. Valley News Team's Veronica Marshall talked to experts and has some answers.
You are not allowed to have a single girl's phone number. You are not allowed to hang out with your friends more than 2 times a week. I am allowed to do a phone check whenever I please. These are just some of the demands on a list of 22 relationship rules that's going viral.
You are not to get mad at me about a single thing ever. That seems problematic. I will kill you, that's just a threat.
Katie Mundy knows about trust and relationships. She says she and her fiance have believed in each other from the beginning. So she finds the list surprising, and she's not alone.
I've never not trusted him. Never would I make a list like that or not trust him to go hang out with girls.
I get limits on a relationship, but not super duper controlling limits. Then it becomes not an, relationship at all.
To realize that they don't have that trust in you, that you already know these, then it's just, I don't know, it just doesn't seem right.
Relationship experts agree.
Those lists are what I think of when I think of warning signs or when I'm coaching or guiding survivors to what to look out for. Controlling behavior.
The National Domestic Violence Hotline says relationship red flags that signal unhealthy or abusive behavior include extreme jealousy, isolating you from friends and family, and monitoring where you go, who you call, and who you spend time with, all of which were mentioned on the list.
So I recommend for them to seek professional assistance, some guidance, and some support, because a lot of people stay in those abusive relationships because they might not want to let go of the relationship.
Now, Mundy and her fiance have their own advice for the couple behind the list, and others like it.
If you have doubts about trusting a person, then maybe you aren't meant to be. And try to find someone that you're comfortable with and that you don't have to worry about them cheating on you or feeling insecure about those things.
There's plenty of fish in the sea.
In Fargo, Veronica Marshall, Valley News Live.
For more information on relationship warning signs or how to set boundaries, visit us online at valleynewslive.com.
The 3rd annual Indigenous Peoples Day was capped off tonight with a powwow at Agassiz School in South Fargo. The National Day strives to strengthen the community through reconciliation and healing. There were professional development workshops and an Indigenous meal. The night ended with the powwow. Organizers say it's important to recognize and embrace Indigenous cultures.
The Native American community here in Fargo is pretty good sized community and pretty active. We're still here, and that was our ancestors, the resiliency that we have, and to celebrate those things is wonderful.
Indigenous Peoples Day began as a counter-celebration to Columbus Day, promoting Native American culture and commemorating the history of Native American peoples.
Later on Valley News Live at 10, success at an early age for a teenage marathoner. But is it too early to push one's body in such a demanding sport?
Some rain will continue for most of the areas we head through the overnight hours. A little bit of snow in our far western counties. More rain, more snow as we head through the next 48 to 72 hours. Details on that right after this.